Hello everyone, this is Professor Kent. Today I'm going to record Module 2 GL setup. The first thing you're going to do, I'm going to repeat what we did in Module 1 so that you have an idea what we did in Module 1. What we're doing is we're carrying over from Module 1. Like we said in the class, you have to set up two database, one in MSQL server, the other one in the Sage 300 uh, uh, data setup. So let's do that. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to look for class app Centennial. You double click it, you go down in the middle, log in, use your credentials to log in. Your credential will be whatever is provided to you by your by Centennial, and you put in your credentials and you say sign in. Once you sign in, it will come back with all the apps. The app that you're looking for is Class Apps Window 10. You're going to double click. Once you double click, the system will let you have to wait for the system to do its own thing, and it's going to load. It's going to take time depending on your internet. In this case, I don't want a full screen. I will cancel it because I want to see my own screen, my own desktop, to make it easy for me. But you could go ahead and do the full screen too. So these steps are the same steps you're going to follow every week, every module that you do, every class that you will do. So it's the same steps you're going to follow. I'm going to do it the second time. For module 2, we're going to repeat what we did in module 1, and then we'll show you what the next thing to do. So now system is doing its own thing, is preparing the windows. So once it starts preparing, it needs to do its own thing. We're going to have patience and let the system run its course. So now if you look at it, I got a desktop, and this desktop is a Centennial desktop. So now it's still doing something. I normally get a screen at the right side saying that my balance is 0. That's how I know that it stops. It is stopped downloading what I needed to stop loading. So its system is still downloading. So we're gonna wait patiently. Now if you look at it, now the right side I got the balance, and the left side is installing the windows. So I'm going to wait a couple seconds again, and then what I'm going to do is, now it's done what I needed to do. I'm going to close this. So now what we're doing is we're ready to use the MSQL server. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to the start button, and then from there you're going to go down and look for MSQL server 24. You're going to click on the drop down arrow, and then you're going to look at MSQL server 2014 management studio. So that's the one you're going to look for it. You're going to double click it. Once you do that, you are going to get a screen, and what we needed to do is we needed to do two database. Let's create the database that we needed to create. So we're going to wait till the screen that comes up. Now the first one is server database engine. So you in this one you wanted to leave it alone. So we have a database engine. Now the server, everybody's going to get a different server. In this case, you're going to have a drop down window, and you're going to click on browse for more. When you do a browse for more, you're going to expand database engines. When you expand it, you're going to go down to the third one, which is called Class Apps ACPAC 2019. So I'm going to say okay, and this is the one everybody's going to get it. This is a unique number. So you're going to highlight it, and you're going to say Control C. It's important that you do copy this because you need this server name in the future. So in this case, we are going to click on SQL Server. My login is SA. My password is SQL Server. So at all lower letters. So you're going to connect. Once it's connect, you're going to go to the left side, and you're going to click on the database, right click. You're going to get new database. When you click on the new, you can make it a little bit larger to see what you're doing. The first one is we're creating a system database. It's omnisys, and you're going to change it to the size is 6, and then you're going to click OK. Do not click add, click OK. Now the next, what we're going to do is we're going to create another one. It will be your system. It'll be omni, OMN, data, DAT, omnidat. So in this case it will also be 6, and you're going to say okay. So now what you did is you created the two database in MSQL server. So you see it, you see omnidate and omnisys. So you see both of them. So that means we have done what we needed to do. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set up the same two database in Sage 300. Then I'm going to close this. Once you close it, go to the start button again. You're going to look for Sage. Let's go. You're going to look for Sage, and then you're going to go to database setup. So that's what you're going to set up. Your password here is admin. It's lower letter ADMIN. Click OK. Again, you need to delete everything you have here. So all you have to do is delete, say yes, delete, yes, delete, yes. So now you deleted. Now you're ready to create the two database that you just created in MSQL server. My first one is OMNSYS, and then it's a system. When you go in here, you're going to click on your server and you're going to say Control V. This is the one we're bringing it from your MSQL server. So your login is SA, your password is SQL server. Then what you're going to do is your database name is same as the description. So same is the database ID, OMNSYS. So then you say okay. Now we have to do one more, and it's going to be OMNDAT. So in this case you say okay, and the description here will be Omni sorry, it should be, the company we're working with is Omni Electrical Services Limited. Sorry, limited. Server name will be what we copied from our MSQL server. I Control V. Then I have an SA. My password is SQL server, and then my database name is omnidat. So then I say okay. So now I created these two things. You have to create it every time you use class apps, or you use the Sage 300. Now I say you're going to close it, or you can exit. So now what we're doing is we're ready to load our files from the last week that we did. So in this case, you're going to go to your file explorer and look for your H drive. Under the H drive, I should have an omnisys lesson. So if you look at it, this is where you're going to do it, where you have all your 4 files. So what you're going to do is this is where all the files are. You're going to copy that, and then where you're going to copy it to your desktop. So I'm going to minimize it, and I'm going to show you. You right click it and you paste it. Now when you paste it, you see that I moved the lesson 1 from the folder from the H drive to the desktop. Now I'm ready to work with it. So you could double check that these are the four files in there. So now what I'm going to do is, now I have to do a new step. I have to do database load. How you going to do it? You're going to go back to your Sage. So let's go to your Sage. Click, and then we're going to go to database load. So when you're going to do the database load, you have to connect it to the last week's file. So double click, and then your password is admin, ADMIN, lower letters. You say okay. So now what you're going to do is all these files are there. What we needed to do is you needed to do set directory. So when you're setting a directory, you want to connect it to your omnisys. So you're going to say browse. When you're going to browse, you're going to go to your desktop, and then you're going to don't want to go in there, you wanted to go only highlight the folder itself. So you only highlight the folder, so then say okay. And then in this case, then you're going to say okay. So now if you look at it, now we got two things here, omnisys and omnidat. So the first one you're going to load is omnisys. So what you're going to click on that, you do next. And then what you're going to do is when this comes, what you want to do is you don't want to hit finish. What you want to do is next. And what you next, you're going to do the same thing for what you did for omni data. So in this case, omnidat, you click next, and you click next. And now what we did is we load everything in this case. So then you finish, everything is going to be loaded, everything is going to be blank. System is going to do its own thing at the end. And you know that what we did in our module 1 is loaded. So let's see if it's loaded. If everybody remembers, I will show you what we did in our last class. Now we're ready to start our our Sage 300. So you're going to click on Sage and then click on Sage 300. So now you could do close it. Now we are going to open a company. So when you open a company, your password is ADMIN. So now what you're gonna, it's an Omni Electric. So then what we wanted to do is the date, session date is 01/01/2021. So that's the date, and we say okay. So now the first thing you're going to do is you're going to check what we did last class. Is it there? Because we just loaded the files. I'm going to show you what we did, and I'm going to show you where it is. So the system is, let the system do its thing. It came back. We're going to go to common services. We created company profile. We want to know if it's there. Yes, it is there. This is what we did. And if you go to the option, what we did was under there we put the functional currency, which was Canadian. So what we did is we know whatever we did is there. The other thing we did was we did something in schedule, and that is with the monthly schedule, and that is well, you will check on the reminder list too. It should be there under your all assigned schedule, and that's what we did in our last class. So now what we're doing is we're ready to go with module 2. What is your module 2? Module 2 is your GL database setup. So in order for us to do that, first you're going to go to administrator services. You're going to do data activation. Oh, so I have something. You have, if you look at it, everything has to be closed in order for us to do a data activation. Double click it. Now I'm going to say yes, I backed up, and you're going to say proceed. System is going to do its own thing. It's going to come back with which data we wanted to activate. Now what the only one we want at this point is general ledger 6.8a, and then I say next, and then I say next, and then you say activate. System is going to activate. On the left side, you close it. On the left side, you will see your GL module, and GL module is ready for you to work with. So when you're working with it, the first thing you're working with is you have nothing there. Now we're setting up GL setup. So the first thing message. So in this case, you are going to go to the option. If you look at it in the option, you're going to go account that's Canadian is already there. When you go to the posting, what you're going to do is you're going to keep it for the 7 years. So that's what you're going to do for the 7 years. And then what you're going to do, don't save it, go to the next one. You're going to go to segment. So what we needed to do is we're going to create account. In this case, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create what you're going to create. You're creating an account. ACC, so first letter will be a capital ACCOUNT, and the length of your account is 4. Then you're going to go to next one is going to be your division, because we have 2 divisions, and then the length of the division is 3. Now when you go to account segment, that will be 1. Make sure you do this, otherwise you have to load the database again if you don't do it. And then you go to the next one. Even though it is, we need the hyphen is there, that we can enter as many divisions as we can. So that's what we wanted to do. So then now I'm ready to save. You see, now we cannot, this is all gray, I cannot come back to this. So I close it. Now I am done what I needed to do. So now I have to go to my segment code, double click. So now what I'm going to do is we have a division. Then once you go to the division, what you're going to do is you're going to create the segment codes here. So the segment code is, your first one is 100, and for the 100 your division is, we have 2 divisions in this in Omni. We have 2 divisions. One is electrical, the other one is machinery. ELECTRICAL, electrical division. That's my first division. If I tab it over to go to next one, that's your 200, and that's your second division, that's your second department. It's going to be machinery division. So we have 2 divisions in this case, in this Omni, in our chapter files. And what we do is we save it. So now we save it and we close. So we done the segment course. Now we're going to go to account structure. Account structure will be ACC, and then the description will be, if you look at it, we don't have any, so we're creating a new one for the account. The name, the description of that source of the description will be the account, but the system wants us to include both of them. In this case, what we're doing is we have to include the account, and you have to include the account under the segment in order to come up what here and write the description of the account. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add it. So then you add, then what you're going to, if you look at it now, if I do the finder, I have the first one. So now I'm going to do the next one. My next one is your division. So I'm going to create a new one. The new one will be DIV, and DIV is going to be, see, it doesn't let you add the description till you add the segments and include the segments. For that, you are going to first doing the account. The second one, you're going to do the division. It has to be in this order. Account will be first and division will be next. So now I'm ready to add. It will be my description, it will be my division. So the description will be division, and I add it. So now if you look at it now, the both account and divisions are there. So we're done with the divisions. So now we're going to cancel it, and I'm going to close it. So once you do that, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to do the source code. So when you click on the source code, there's some codes are already set up for you, and some we needed to set it up. So these are the ones that are already set it up in the system. And if you go to your module, you will see it. I'm just flipping through the page to show you where we are going to create GLCD, and where is that? It is on page 79 of your book, and also under the lesson 2 module. So what we are going to do is Now we needed to create. If you're going to create it, you hit the new button. When you do a new, you're going to do GL, and it's a CD. And what is the description? It's a cash disbursement. So I'm going to type cash disbursement. And then I am going to add it. And then in order to add another one, what I'm going to do is I have to say new, and then you go to the next one, GLCR, and that stands for cash receipts. We need to create them because when it'll help us when we do our journal entry, when we do our AP module and our AR modules. So now in this case, it is cash receipts. So this journal is cash receipt, RECEIPT receipts. So I'm going to add, and you're going to do the same thing. There's four more to do. I'm going to do GL, and it is going to be PR, and that stands for payroll. So we're going to do payroll. First letter should be always capital, payroll. So then I'm going to add, oh, yes, I'm gonna sometimes you skip when I skip go too fast, you can skip, but you always have to add it to make the change to be acceptable. GLSA, and it is going to be sales. So then I'm going to add, and then plus, and then you're going to GL, and then it is SESU for set up. So in this case, I will do is for setups. That's what we're going to do at the beginning. Next lesson when we're doing it, it will be doing setup in module 4. So in this case, I'm going to add, and then you want to know if you created all of them. If you click on the finder, you will see now we created sales, we created setup, so they go in alphabetic order. So we created cash disbursements, cash receipts, and then we did payroll, and what we did was SA and the setup. So we did 6 of them, so those are all of them there. So I will cancel it and I will close it. So now what we are ready to do is, next one is my what you're going to do is you have um, source journal profile that we needed to set up. So you double click it, and then it is important. Why is this important? Because we are going to be using it for the payroll module, and we're going to be using it for our bank reconciliation module. So in this case, the profile will go under as payroll. Under payroll, what goes under payroll? We're making payments. What source? So what we're going to do is we're going to add. So when you look at the ad, what you're going to do here under the payroll, you're going to look for our the code that we just set it up when we in the example before, and we're looking for a payroll. So you're going to select that PR, and then it automatically comes up. And what I have to do is I have to do an add. Then next, what we are going to do is you could save it. It's automatically save it, and then you add a new one that will be for your bank reconciliation. In the bank reconciliation, when we do a bank reconciliation, we have to use 3 other source codes, 3 other journals. So let's do bank reconciliation. And then what you're going to do is go to the source code, you're going to click. We already know that we have to do cash disbursement journal. You're going to select, then you're going to go tab it over to go to the next line. Then we have a cash receipt, select, tab it over, go to the next, and then we are going to use PR, because if you look at it, your cash reconciliation, you need all those. So I'm looking for payroll and select. So what we did is now we created the tab it over to accept it, and I'm going to say add, and then close it. So what we did is what we needed to do is we made the changes what needed to be done. So now what we are going to do is, if we go to account group, now if I go to my account group here, I wanted to show you guys something. In this case, if I do the finder here, you will see it, there's different groups. So in this case, these were, if your current assets, they go under O1. You have accounts receivable, which is O2, inventory is O3. These are the groups, and these are the groups we're going to be using it to create our chart of accounts. So that's what you're going to be using it to create your chart of accounts. So this is just to show you what is available to you. So now what are we done? We're done with everything that we needed to do for your module 2. Now after we have completed the module 2, every week now you're going to be printing reports. When you print your reports, you have to save the reports, and this is what you're going to be bringing in if I want you to hand in something. So in this case, what you're going to do is, where you're going to print it, you're going to, where the print reports are, you're going to be, everything that you need to print will be in your GL reports. This is where everything gets printed from the report. So then how you going to print it? If you look at it at your top of your module, it's a print description. And when we do that, we wanted to change it to preview. We don't want to print it. What we wanted to do is, we want system to create a PDF. From the PDF, we wanted to print it. In other words, that's what we want. And you say okay. So now our system is ready to print our files, because we don't want to keep printing it. We want to only do it after we finish printing all the modules. So then now we are going to go to GL reports, and then what you need to print is what we are doing is, if you look at it where we wanted to print, it is the same reports that we needed to print that is under the challenge exercises. I'm just going to show you. If you look at it, the first one we wanted to print was the GL option report. So if you look at it, where is going to be, we're already in GL reports, then you're going to go find your options. Your option is here. That's the first one that we wanted to print. You double click it, and then say that system will ask you want to print. Yes, we wanted to print. So let the print system is going to print itself. It's going to do its own thing. This is what the thing is. We created an account. Count has a length is 4. We created a division, which is 3. Now we wanted to print. So now what you're going to do is, you're going to click on the export report, and then this is the Adobe file, Adobe PDF. You say okay when you do that, and you say print everything, click okay, and the system is going to say that where you want to print it. Now what you want to do is, you want to create another folder for all the reports for lesson 2. So that's what you want to do it. Then you wanted to do is move that into our H drive. So what I'm going to call you, there's two things you could do is, you could, I'm just going to name this report, and I'm going to show you how to create another folder. In this case, what is this report called? It called the GL. This report is GL option report. So it's going to be, sorry, GL option report. And then what we're going to do is, we're going to save it, and we're, so in this case, you're going to go to this PC, and you're going to save it under your you're going to go to this PC and save it under your the report is GL option report. Option report. And then what you're going to do is, this is what you want to do. You want to save them, and we say save. So now once you save it, you're going to close, and once you close it, you're going to go back to your I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger, so then I'm able to kind of see what I am doing. So in this case, now first one was your option, the second report is your segment code report, which is you're going to double click it, and you're going to say print. And then once you print it, what we need to do is, we needed to export. and then say okay and okay. Then the name of the report is going to be, you're going to put it in here, and then the name of the report is going to be called, we are printing segment report. So segment report, so in this case is segment, and it is a segment report. So that's what we have, that's our second one that we needed to do. So in this case what you're going to do is you're going to save it, and that will be your save. Now you're going to go close that one, and now we're going to close this. You're going to go to next one. Your next report is account structure. So say print, system is going to do what it needed to do, and then when you're here you're going to say export, say okay. Okay, now we're just showing you what you're printing. So in this case, when you're printing it, the next one you're printing, I think the GL didn't get saved. We are going to do that again. Account structure, and that's the my save it, and then you close it. Go one more time, close it here. The option wasn't didn't get saved for some reason, I don't know, maybe I saved it under different name. So let's do that, export it, okay, okay. And then what is going to be the call? It's going to be called the GL, GL option report, GL. And you save it, close it again, and then close it again. The next thing we're left with two reports. We are left with source code and source journal. Double click it, print it, and export it, and then file, okay. And now this report is going to be, what is it going to be called? Source code report, source code report. And we're going to save it. Now the next thing, we're going to close this. Once we close this, we're left with sales journal. So in this case, source journal profile, say print, and then you export it. Once you export it, now we have to save it, and you're going to save it to your folder, and this file is going to be called source journal profile report. Save. So we done everything that needed to be done. We are done with this chapter, this module. Now what we need to do is we need to dump our file like we did. Where we dumping it? We're dumping it to the desktop. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go to your administrative services. We have to dump our file. So when you're dumping your file, now before you dump your file, you need to create what you're going to create it on your desktop. You're going to create another folder. That folder will be called, I'm just going to do it, OmniSys. That folder is going to be OmniSys. Now what we are doing is we have a lesson 2, because that's where we wanted to dump it to, lesson 2. We wanted to keep everything separate, lesson 1, lesson 2 separate. So I want to dump my file to OmniSys lesson 2, then we're going to move them from there to the desktop. When you're dumping it, again, you're dumping your system file first. You're going to browse it. When you browse it on this PC desktop, you're going to look at it. Where are you going to dump it? You're going to dump to OmniSys. Then say okay. So, and then then you say dump. So that's your first file, 16 of them. You say close. Then you go to the next one, Omni Electric. You dump it. It's going to be 30 files. Last time we had 30, now we have 90 tables. Why we have it more? Because we created more things. We created journal GL setup. Now we're close. We close. Now we are ready to close this folder. Before you close it, you wanted to make sure in your lesson 2 you have 4 files in there. So let's go to our Omnisys lesson 2. So this is my lesson 2. So this is my lesson 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double check it. I have 4 files in here: Omnidata, Omnisys, Omni 4 files. So what we wanted to do is move this folder to where you want to move it to your H drive. So what you're going to do is you can drag or make sure you're doing the right folder. So I know that if you look at it, this is my lesson 2 folder that I wanted to move, and I wanted to move my report folder. These two are, I don't want to do lesson 1 because I already have a lesson 1. I want the lesson 2 moved. So right click, we are going to copy it. Then you go to your file explorer, and when you're doing it, you go to your H drive, ACCT. I'm going to move it here, and I'm going to paste. So if I paste it, it is already here. So lesson 2 is here. So in other words, the second one I wanted to move is, you will see it, you could drag or you could just move. So in this case, the second folder that we want to move is my report folder, and then I'm going to move it here too, because I wanted to keep everything organized. So this is where you wanted to do. Now what are we done? We're done with what we needed to do. Now we can close everything and close everything that we have. So now you go to power, and you're going to shut down your app, so you can close the app. So in other words, you go to Omni, you close this folder. You want to exit, I wanted to exit, yes, you close everything. Once you close it, you need to sign out. So in this case, use the power button to sign out, and we could say shut down. So it shut down only the class app. So in this case, we close, and we close everything. And thank you for listening.